Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
It's time for What Did You Expect? And now, the host of What Did You Expect, Tony Walker. All right, welcome folks to another fun-filled edition of What Did You Expect? As we try to uncover why so many savers expect so much from the financial world, but in many cases don't always get what they expected. So today, 3 lucky contestants will be competing for that grand prize of 1,000 milkshakes. Now, each of these contestants will share their best What Did You Expect story involving the financial world. So without further ado, let's meet our contestants. First, we have from Louisville, Kentucky, Derek. Also near Louisville, Kentucky is Aaron. And just outside Louisville, Kentucky is Gina. So, Derek, let's start with you. For 1,000 milkshakes, give us your best What Did You Expect experience in dealing with the financial world.
Well, Tony, recently I turned over my 401k to an advisor who was supposed to personally manage it for a small fee. However, I just found out that not only is he getting fees on my money, but there is also another third-party money manager involved who is taking fees off the top as well.
What did you expect? Ouch. Okay, Aaron, tell us your best What Did You Expect moment.
Well, Tony, after attending one of those free dinner seminars, I let the advisor talk me into putting all of my money into an annuity, and now I can't get out of it without paying a huge penalty. I guess I'm just kind of stuck in this thing.
What did you expect? That's too bad, Aaron. And finally, our last contestant is Gina. Gina, for 1,000 milkshakes at stake, what is your best What Did You Expect moment?
Well, Tony, we heard an advisor on the radio promising a free game plan, but when my husband and I went to visit, the advisor didn't give us a game plan. All he wanted was to roll over our 401k.
So, Gina, what happened?
We kept our money and we got the heck out of there.
And there you have it, folks, our winner, Miss Gina Tutwiler.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, retirement specialist and 6-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
In the year of our Lord 2023, after personally authoring 6 books myself, I decided to employ a well-known author to write my 7th book, a book whose purpose was to showcase the philosophy and the drive behind our organization and the culture here at Tony Walker Financial to pull it off. With that in mind, I decided to contract with well-known Kentucky author Mr. Gary West. West, who already had 18 books to his name, was given the task to follow me around, interview staff as well as friends and family, and to arrive at this conclusion. What makes Tony Walker tick, and why do I expect the best in all I do, expect the best from the staff that are serving our clients, and expect others to do their best in providing services, to yours truly? You see, expecting the best is a deep dive answering the question of why so many savers trust Tony Walker Financial with their retirement money. After working on this project for more than 6 months, the title of the book became apparent to both me and Mr. West as we concluded that much of the success of Tony Walker Financial is rooted in this notion to always expect the best. I would encourage you to purchase a copy of Expect the Best from any major bookseller. As well, you can download a free audiobook of the entire book by logging on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. So what does a book about expecting the best have to do with you, your money, and your retirement? Well, we're going to find out. So welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest, 6-time author and full-time fiduciary Tony Walker. And before we share with you how you should expect the best from the financial world, but why many of you are getting less than expected, let me introduce two young lads here in the WorryFree production studios who expect the best of their efforts each week to produce this show. America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander, along with Louisville, Kentucky's most laid-back graphics artist, Mr. Derek Hudson. Now, before I get into the meat of today's show, I've got to ask America's favorite sidekick, Aaron, someone who has actually been with me well over 10 years, someone who has helped produce more than 530 full-length TV shows since he's been with me. So, Aaron, tell me, partner, would you have ever expected in your wildest imagination when we first met at a local TV station back in, I think it was 2008, where we would be together now at this point and all the TV shows we've produced together?
Yeah, I mean, all I have to say is, back in 2008 when we met, I never would have imagined beyond my wildest dreams that we would be here 14 years later doing over 500 episodes. So it's been great.
And so we thank you. Obviously, Derek has been doing a great job too. But again, thank you so much, Aaron. And as you know, I've expected the best from you, and you have come in with flying colors. So thanks again for all your hard work. So folks, what you want to do is stay tuned, because when I come back, I'm going to help you think through what questions you need to be asking any prospective advisor you're thinking about talking to, including yours truly, and why you should expect the best from anyone that's handling your life savings. I'm Tony Walker. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement. We'll be right back. Having worked in the retirement planning field for 40 years, I know it's not just about how much money you've saved for retirement, but making sure you one day don't run out of money. That's where mailbox money comes in.
Mailbox money!
A reliable, lifelong income, much like the pension plans from the past. If you're interested in turning your 401k into mailbox money, let's talk. Just set up your free 10-minute phone call with myself at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Our client spotlight today shines brightly on Mr. Greg Ray. Greg, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today.
Nice to be here, Tony. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. So what prompted you to contact us at this time? Because you've only been a client, about a year or so. So what prompted you to contact us?
I just happened on Sunday morning to see the Tony Walker Show, quite frankly, Tony. And we bought your book, Live Well, Die Broke, and your story and your principles and your Christian foundation and the balance of, what do you need to have? What do you want to leave to your kids or what have you? Because I got a couple of boys and their families, and then the rest of it, how you want to live your life while you still can live your life, that is. So we stopped in for a visit. We simply came in and asked for a visit, and we got to sit down with you, and that was about a year and a half ago, and we're so glad we did. So.
And again, not to disparage anybody, but going from a large bank to I'd say we're more of a boutique firm, locally owned and everything, service-wise and everything, what have you experienced maybe that's a little different?
The biggest thing is, and probably the most surprising thing is, the presentation of the suite of products that you had. If we wanted to stay in the stock market and play the stock market game, which is a little bit more risky, you had the Charles Schwab product suite, fine and dandy. We could continue doing what we've been doing basically through the bank. The fixed income annuity package, some of the things that you had in long-term care planning, the tax planning, the retirement planning, and working, making a plan and working the plan, and the responsiveness of all of your staff is just incredible.
Well, we appreciate your business and hopefully many more years to come. So thank you, Greg, for doing business with Tony Walker Financial.
And Tony, best to you. We appreciate all you've done for us.
You're welcome.
Looking for an advisor you can trust? Schedule your free phone call with Tony at TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call 1-877-499-9255.
As we record today's show on September 24th, 2024, we recently had the second of 5 client appreciation events. Our annual client appreciation events are simply a way to thank our clients for their business, not just when they retire, but all the way through it. As clients come up to me and meet me at these events, they're amazed at how well they are treated, and I always respond this way. While there's a ton of advisors who are willing to buy complete strangers a free steak dinner in hopes of getting their business, We at Tony Walker Financial choose to buy our client steak dinners to thank them for their business. During this client event, I actually had a what did you expect moment from one of our clients who, upon seeing a lot of trades we were making online to his account, was shocked when I told him that this was part of our service and that there was no additional charge to make all of these trades. And it again is just part of the services. Upon hearing this explanation for all this behind-the-scenes work on our part, he responded with a huge smile, "Gosh, that's great. I didn't expect you guys to do all of that." So to help us explain why we make so many trades on behalf of our clients at no additional cost to them, I'll turn it over to our own Shannon Ross, who oversees the trading at Tony Walker Financial, to share with you the number of trades we have made this year for our clients through year-to-date 2024.
Hi, Tony, and thanks for having me on today. Yes, I oversee the trading needs for our firm, which not only includes money and securities coming in to be invested, but also allocating cash for annuity purchases, keeping the holdings in our clients' accounts in alignment with their risk tolerance and investment goals, and taking care of the distribution needs for our clients. As of the date of this recording, year-to-date, as of October 7th of 2024, our firm has executed over 24,000 trades, totaling over $259 million, and we send millions of dollars back to our clients each year for them to use and enjoy as well.
Speaking of expecting the best, I didn't expect this one. At one of our recent client events, we've got this nice note from a brand new client who attended our client event on the Belle of Louisville, and I'll read it to you. It says, "Tony Walker and staff, thank you so very much for the Appreciation Belle of Louisville treat. We are so impressed with everything that you do. We didn't even know about it until the invitation. In other words, I love this, you didn't lure us into your business." He goes on to say, "We're so happy and blessed that we chose to do business with all of you." Really nice note. Didn't expect that, but we certainly appreciate it. Okay, in our remaining time, many people who come to me who are kicking the tires looking for advisors will admit to me that they really don't know what questions to ask of prospective advisors. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe you're shopping around for an advisor, you're nearing retirement, you've been retired for years, you're just not really happy or satisfied where you are. Irregardless, you're looking for an advisor and you're trying to figure out what you're supposed to ask them. So think about this. If you are expecting the best from that advisor, here are some key questions that you might want to consider asking them. Let's take a look. The first question, and this I think is very important, is he or she, that's the advisor you're talking to, the actual owner of the firm? And if not, who is? At Tony Walker Financial, I am the sole owner of Tony Walker Financial. Now, of course, if something happened to me, I have Heather Hughes who could take over the business. I have my favorite son-in-law, nephew, all are fiduciaries that could take it over. But again, folks, you are talking to the owner of the company. I've been doing this 40 years, and the buck stops with me. So I think that's a huge advantage when you're getting ready to enter this new world of retirement. Here's another question you might want to ask. Is the owner, let's assume the owner does still hang around, are they fully engaged in the firm on a daily basis? And here's the thing. Is that owner available to you? So there's a lot of people that own financial firms, but most of them are not that involved in the business, or they're semi-retired or outgrowing their business, whatever it is. But at Tony Walker Financial, I'm planted here. I'm here to help the folks in Kentucky and Southern Indiana, and I'm always available anytime you need me. Another good one, how many support staff, non-advisors do you have? Well, at Tony Walker Financial, besides myself and the 3 full-time fiduciaries, we have 16 full-time service professionals to help you. And they are there to immediately respond to your needs. There's no need in calling the companies. You don't have to deal with them. Anything you need, you call Tony Walker Financial. So the ratio of advisors to support staff is out the roof, and I think you'll understand why we get such rave reviews about our services. What is the role of each service member? Well, to answer that question, I would invite you to go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and read the Google reviews. What you'll notice is most of the reviews aren't about Tony Walker. They're about this wonderful staff that is there to serve your needs and is specifically trained in all of the areas of retirement planning. Key point when dealing with the firm. Here's one. When I need something, does your firm handle the details, or do I have to contact the company directly? Last year alone, we had over 55 death claims. Those were clients who had passed away, and in all those cases, we met with their beneficiaries. And here's what I noticed. A lot of times the beneficiaries will come into us and they'll kind of say, hey, by the way, do you think you could help me with this? My mom or dad had this account over here or had these accounts over here. And I'm thinking, well, is anybody not helping you? And in most cases, they say no. In fact, what happens is they'll call the phone number, the toll-free number, or the advisor, and they send them a bunch of paperwork, and they're on their own. At Tony Walker Financial, we will handle all of the details of all service work, even death claims. There is no need for you to ever have to call these 1-800 numbers. Here's a good one. Once I move my money over, can I see you at any time? It surprises people that after all these years, I had, I think, five client reviews just yesterday. A client review is when a current client of Tony Walker Financial feels that they need to sit down and go over things, and here's how it works. They call our office. They tell them they want to meet with me. We book the appointment. We find out what it is they're going to be talking about, and then I sit down and meet with them. It's that simple. So yes, I'm completely accessible to our clients at any time. Do you have anyone in your firm that is tax certified? And if so, is there a charge for this? Well, this is a key thing, folks. Again, at the end of 2025, these tax rates are going to expire. Maybe you're already 73 and dealing with RMDs. Maybe you're trying to learn about these QCDs, these qualified charitable distributions. This happened yesterday. Someone came in, was shopping around for an advisor. The advisor wanted to take a large amount of their money and convert it to a Roth. And after I looked at their situation, that was the worst thing they could do. And I proved to them why. And the person was like, gosh, that makes so much more sense. They were getting ready to make a bad financial move because the tax analysis was not correct in what this advisor was suggesting. We have 2 full-time tax experts on staff. If you're a client of Tony Walker Financial, we'll figure your RMDs. We'll figure out the QCD issue. We'll determine the calculation on the Roth conversion. We'll do all the withholdings when we send you money from our Charles Schwab or from the annuities we offer. There is no additional cost for our tax planning services. The only thing we don't actually file your tax return, but everything else we're going to do for our clients at no additional out-of-pocket cost. Well, this is a good one. Can I see what your fees are? Most people that come to me who are looking at our services, when I look at their statements, I always ask them just for the fun of it, what are your fees? And they'll go, I have no clue. Well, folks, that's ridiculous. First of all, if a person is a fiduciary like us, if they're required by law to work in your best interest, those fees have to be front and center. Even if they sell products for a commission, which we do, those commissions need to be disclosed. If you ask of our commissions, we'll tell you exactly what the commissions are. And sometimes the commissions, contrary to what you might hear from some of these goofy ads out there, the commissions might actually be in your best interest depending on what those commissions are. So we work on a fee and commission basis. As fiduciaries, we're happy to share with you those commissions. By the way, you need to look at Form ADV Part 2 if they are fiduciaries, and it'll explain those fees. I like this one. Are you a fiduciary? And here's the key question. If you're not a fiduciary, why not? Many people right now, especially annuity peddlers, are flying under the radar of a lot of government regulators. What they're doing is they're rolling over 401ks. They're moving investments into annuities, fixed annuities. Nothing wrong with that, but these people are not registered with the proper authorities, folks. They're not fiduciaries. So what happens is they're not under the same guidelines and regulations like somebody like us. In fact, I often say I don't mind competing with advisors, but I'd like to be playing under the same rules. Will I receive a written retirement game plan? And I love this. And can you provide me proof that you're going to monitor the game plan? This is really cool. We developed this about a year ago, and we have 2 full-time staff dedicated to what we call income plan audits. So Aaron, put up the game plan here. This is the game plan, okay? First of all, it's proprietary to Tony Walker Financial. You're not going to get this from anyone else. This is not a retirement calculator that you download off the internet or your advisor runs you in 10 minutes. Most of these plans take 6 to 8 hours to put together. They're personalized and specific to you. But you might be saying, well, that sounds great, Tony, but who's going to monitor that thing? I don't want to be fooling with that. Isn't this the worry-free retirement? Well, again, at no additional out-of-pocket cost, this is the plan that we set up, and we're going to use this income audit sheet with our staff to monitor your plan, to look at your values regularly. And if something gets out of kilter, we're going to meet with you immediately and address any issues or concerns. So you might be sitting there right now, if you're retired or nearing retirement and you're thinking, man, I should be expecting a whole lot more from my advisor, and you just want a second opinion, why would you not contact us right now at TonyWalkerFinancial.com? Just click on that Let's Get Started button. We made this so easy. It's called the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call where you and I can talk briefly by phone. And yep, if it warrants, we'll meet in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. So do it now. Nothing to lose. Sign up for that free phone call at TonyWalkerFinancial.com, or if the internet's not your thing, just call us anytime at 877-499-9255. Well, does the Bible say anything about expecting the best of God, especially when the news is not good? Oh yeah, some good stuff coming up. Let me get a cup of coffee. We'll be right back. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started.
Today's Better Business Bureau spotlight comes to us from Brian and Anita. 10 years ago, we went to see Tony Walker Financial just to get an idea of where we were and what we needed to do in order to retire. They showed us it was possible for us to achieve our retirement goals right then. We were able to go ahead and retire. To this day, every single component of our retirement plan with Tony Walker Financial has worked just as we were told it would. We give Tony Walker Financial our most heartfelt thanks and our highest recommendation. For more information, visit TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call 877-499-9255.
As we record this show in late September of 2024, there's a lot of worry and fear regarding the future of this country, the direction we as a world might be heading, and of course, what this might mean to the devaluation of those dollars you are depending on to see you through retirement. In other words, there's a lot of bad news out there fueling the fear that what we expect to happen in the future might not only be but more bad news. And since I'm not sitting around holding my breath for the politicians in Washington nor the talking heads on TV to give me anything better to expect, I am doing what more frequently that I'm doing, and that's the act of turning away from the bad news offered up by the world and instead leaning on the good news offered by God. Yet it does beg the question, if this God of the universe spoken of in the Bible is so full of good news, why in the world does he allow the bad news to happen? In other words, what is his purpose in allowing all this bad news? Well, in my humble opinion, I believe the bad news is given to us so that we more clearly might see the good news offered by God. And here's the thing, his ability to overcome anything that's bad. Don't believe me? Check it out in Exodus 14:13, where Moses and his band of merry Jews are about to become toast as an overwhelming army of Egyptians have them cornered and about to kill them all, when all of a sudden God steps in and takes the worst news of all and gives the Jews much more than they ever expected: salvation. Notice the faith on display by Moses as he tells his people, "Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the Lord's salvation, which he will accomplish for you today." Moses goes on to say, "For the Egyptians you see today, you will never see again." Now that's what I call a great example of expecting the best when apparently things seem the worst. Moses has a lot of expectations of God, so let's take a deeper look. In this verse, we learn from Moses that when faced with bad news, like getting ready to die, the first response to that fear that ensues is not to try to fix the problem ourselves, but to stand still and focus on God. Why? Because we know from experience that with bad news comes fear, and with fear comes the opportunity for the world to take advantage of our fears. Take the concerns over the value of the dollar and what might happen to it. Do you realize how many soothsayers apparently have the magic financial bullet to replace this dollar? They're everywhere, and they are playing on your fears in hopes of what? Getting your money. It's that simple. In other words, most people are most vulnerable to get snookered when they are most fearful of the future, which is why Moses reminds the people to not run, don't fight, don't give up, and don't attack an enemy you cannot defeat, but rather sit still and, yes, stand firm. Why? Because God has proven time and time again that when faced with bad news, if we will but trust and stand firm and expect the best, it oftentimes is the only response needed. You know, it's hard to watch God's mighty hand at work if we are trying to step in to do the work for Him. No, to watch God work requires us to stand still and stand firm. Notice the Egyptians are not wiped out by the efforts of man, but by the will of God. A God that literally has the power to part the seas upon His very command, reminding us that in verse 14, it is the Lord who will fight for you, and He will fight for me if only we will be still. Not to get into politics, by the way, but I find it interesting that both of our current presidential candidates are telling us to vote for them because they will fight for us. Well, friend, I don't know about you, but if my back is against the wall and I'm expecting the best outcome, with all due respect to our presidential candidates, I'm not expecting the best from them. Instead, I'm expecting the best from God. And it's not just Moses and a little man in a sweater vest who is expecting the best from God. Check it out where the Apostle Paul, who's stuck in prison, says the following in 2 Corinthians 12:9. He says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. Therefore, I will all the more boast gladly in my weaknesses." Why? So that the power of Christ may rest on me. Of this taking bad news and expecting the best from God, the late great theologian Charles Spurgeon quotes Psalms 112:7, where he says, "He will have no fear of bad news. His heart is steadfast, trusting in the Lord." Spurgeon sums up David's thought this way: "The ungodly, when they are overtaken by bad news, rebel against God. They murmur and think God deals harshly with them. But with Christians, our reaction should be that of David and of Moses, to stand still and see the salvation of God and have no fear of the bad news." That's it. Be still, stand still, and expect the best in whatever God's will might be for you. Because in the end, that's all we've got, is the salvation of God. And that's some good news you and I can expect to take to the bank. Amen? Well, speaking of feeling like your back is against the wall and feeling fearful of all the bad financial news you keep hearing about, what if I told you that the best thing you can do is be still and take 10 minutes out of your day to talk to me, Tony Walker, the owner of Tony Walker Financial, someone who's been around this financial world for 40 years, visited in person with nearly 20,000 savers, overseen more than 5,000 written game plans, and employs a full-time staff of retirement planning experts of 19 staff. So do this. Log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and take advantage of something we call the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. We'll get that set up and you and I will talk right away. And if it merits, if I think I can be of help, that's right, we're going to meet in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. So do it now. TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started, or if the internet's not your thing, call us 24/7, toll free at 877-499-9255. Well, that's all the time we have for today's program. We thank you for joining us, but you remember, between now and next week, if all else fails, you be worry-free and make it a good one.